We are speaking to Raffaello Napoleone, who is the CEO of Pitti and who has been in the trade fairs business for a long time. So we are speaking to the very man who knows a lot about fashion and about children's fashion as well, and the related trade fairs. We are very interested to hear, first of all, what are the main differences for you between edition 82, i.e. 1 year ago, and the current edition. What has changed? What do you think is really noteworthy?
Very deep changes between 82 and 84, Pitti Bimbo edition. In fact, worldwide, so many things changed from a political point of view, from an economical point of view, from a consumption point of view. Fortunately, the figures, economical figures for the children's wear business, especially about Italian export, are positive, like the turnover of the children manufacturing industries. And so we suffered a bit the sanctions against Russia. We suffered the low price of petrol, and so the consumption in the Middle East, that is very important for children's wear, has been less brilliant in the last
Can I
years.
interrupt you there only briefly? You mentioned the Russian market. Obviously, lots has changed there. How important is the Russian market? Can you put a number to it for the Italian industry?
Market, the Russian market in children's wear has been always a driving force. Because the rules, brackets, in dressing children in Russia are quite important, and the Russians spend a lot of money in dressing children, like in all the southern European countries, Mediterranean areas, like in the Middle East. And the Italian entrepreneurs in children's decided to invest a lot on those markets, and in fact the consumption has been a bit lower in the last 24 months. But finally we recorded during Pitti Bimbo last week and at the beginning of 2017 a positive movement of buyers versus the Italian goods and the Italian trade shows like Pitti Bimbo and Pitti Bimbo. We expect a good recovery this year from this market. One of the main issues is also the internal consumption. This is not so brilliant. In Italy we are suffering the change of government. Matteo Renzi left at the end of the year. It was not expected. There are elections in Germany, there are elections in France, there is the Brexit, there is the changes in the United States with the new president just arriving in the next few hours. And this could be strange things, but finally is affecting a little bit the results of the fashion business. We have not to forget also that the consumption in the States is not so brilliant. Big department stores like Macy's, for example, are planning to close in the next few months more than 60 department stores. They are firing more than 7,000 employees, and many other distribution organizations are restructuring their system. We have also to remember that the e-commerce is growing very fast, and we think that you are successful on the e-commerce if you are also physically very strong, so you have your own shops. So there are many deep and interesting changes, and in the meantime opportunities.
And is that reflected in A, the number of visitors, B, where the visitors come from, and the same goes for the exhibitors? Do you see a change there in the pattern of countries which are represented? And in addition, are certain sectors becoming more important for Pitti Bimbo, like accessories or so? What's the situation?
Very good question. For sure, all these changes are a bit affecting the children's wear, but not just the children's wear, because company has to reposition themselves vis-a-vis of the new expectation of consumers, the new communication rules. From our point of view, an exhibitor point of view, we are very happy because we decided more than 20 years ago to be more and more international, more and more interesting from a scouting point of view. We travel a lot looking for the new ideas, for the new, also very small companies, because the market today needs new collection to suggest and propose to the consumers. And when you attend our trade shows, especially Pitti Bimbo or Pitti Uomo, for sure you come back home much richer than when you came last time, because every season you can find something new to improve your business. So appointment that you need to see at the very beginning of each season to start for a new season and for a good business, to develop your physical offer, and also to start thinking about the digital one.
Do you manage to attract buyers of the big department stores, internationally, to come to Pitti like they did, 10 years ago, or is that changing?
Much more. In the last few years, last 2 years, and will be also for 2017, the Italian government, thanks to the development Ministry of Sviluppo Economico, we have a huge budget of hospitality for new buyers and press. The Italian government understood that to improve and sustain the Italian export, you need to have buyers, especially, for example, in trade shows like Pitti Bimbo, where the turnovers and also the opportunity of travel is much smaller than in menswear or in children's wear, in women's wear. And so we have a very interesting incoming program of hospitality. Around 80 buyers invited per season. Menswear is around 100.
So that is basically a means for you with which you can support young aspiring labels to come to Pitti, to support them, financially, or in terms of smaller fees or whatever.
In fact, we have different kind of sections. Imagine a Bimbo, and you have booths that you have to set up, and so you just sell the square meters, and each company has to set up the booth. You have the pre-settled booth with a very good and interesting price. Maybe, for example, the pop-up stores. It's not expensive at all. But what we offer is the best market worldwide, with the best buyers from Far East, from the United States, from Europe, from Africa. That we try to offer the opportunity to really develop your business. We have also sections with showrooms open till 10 p.m. here in the Fortress, because a trade show like Pitti Bimbo gives also the opportunity to take orders during the show. It's not true, and it's the same for Pitti Uomo, that during the show you just walk to see exactly which is the mood, the feeling of the season. In fact, you are here also to take orders and start the season with a good turnover.
Do you actually measure that? Are you in contact with your exhibitors? Will they report to you so that you can see, certain areas of children's wear went up in terms of, orders?
I understand your question, but it's very difficult to ask the company which is the turnover.
Absolutely,
but in fact, we know, due to the fact that there are around 80 showrooms rented, that they are taking a lot of orders. Just a question of commercial organization. Somebody is working with agent, representative, showrooms. Somebody else is just investing a lot here to take as much order as possible.
But you are very active, coming back to e-commerce or coming back to the digital world. Pitti Imagine is very active electronically, digitally. What is the response of the trade public to what you offer? Because you can now go on your websites, look at the collections, because companies upload them. Is that really intensively used?
Absolutely, yes. We started thinking about digital in 93, 94 with MIT in Boston, in direct relation with Nicolas Negroponte. Because I'm not a digital person, I'm not a millennial, unfortunately, but I thought that was one of the new borders. That is just an added opportunity to what is already consolidated.
And you went to MIT straight away.
In that moment was the reference worldwide. And we learned a lot. And finally we tried many times to start with our own project. Finally, 7 years ago, we set up a company, Fiera Digitale, with the project is Pitti. We offer the opportunity to the exhibitors and to our visitors in the green mailing list, the good ones, to re-experience the show, because during Pitti Immagine Uomo and Pitti Immagine Bimbo, also Pitti Immagine Filati, we take pictures. We hire around 100 young photographers, video makers.
100,
yes.
Okay.
And they take pictures in the show, very high quality pictures. And you can re-enter the show after 1 week of the closing of the show, and for 4 or 5 weeks to deal with the exhibitors and with the retailers, checking the collection that eventually you didn't see. What is very interesting is that this service is in the square meters price, and so we don't have 100% of the exhibitors using the service, but it's part of our service. We think that more and more in the future, trade shows has to help exhibitors to finalize and obtain as much as possible from the investment they have in a trade show. And we are launching now, these days, a ready-to-order system just to take orders not written by hand, but through an iPad. It's a ready-to-order program. We started and we developed the platform in the last 8 months, and now we are selling this to help the small companies who have this service. That is very useful for the companies, for the agent, and for the distributors.
There are lots of things we could really talk about. You mentioned agents. What's the role of the agent nowadays? But coming quickly back to the photographers which you employ, 100, which is a big number. The pictures.
And also video makers. And those post-production.
These pictures you take, can the labels actually use them as well?
Absolutely.
So you give them.
We offer them this service.
Okay, and that's being used a lot, I can imagine.
It's unique. There are no other organizations. You have to remember that Pitti Immagine is a non-profit company. In the sense, we have an association, Centro di Firenze per la Moda Italiana, that owns the Pitti Immagine labels and gives us the mainstreams. And we have to reinvest all the profit we have in promoting Italian and international fashion. And this is a unique system, worldwide concept that is performing very, very well.
Coming back quickly to Pitti Bimbo, what are the most important sectors to this? Can you?
In my opinion, all sectors have soul and importance. There is nothing that is more important for us. The children's business, like the menswear business or the women's business, is a business where you have many options, many opportunities to use. In this case, we are giving the same importance to all the areas, all the sections we have in Pitti.
Are certain areas like accessories or possibly even what we call hardware, is that coming together as well? Is it building up in terms of exhibitors looking at Pitti Immagine and saying, we are not necessarily a pure fashion company, but we produce very fashionable products like a buggy, which can be really highly sophisticated. Is that something that's coming more and more to
platform from where all the people involved, all the fashion system can plug in and find something useful for the European business. We are open from the press, of course, from the distributors, from the agent, representatives, suppliers. There are a lot of people here just to sell and present the new fabrics or yarns or accessories. This is the real starting point if you want to stay in this business. You cannot avoid the influence, at least for 2 days.
Yes, it is interesting because we talked briefly about retail, the retail sector and the situation in the retail sector. In a way, we believe that the so-called concept store is becoming more important, but in a way you are reflecting that in your trade fair as well, because it's...
We have all the design area that is developing. We have special projects, editorial projects about travel, about the book fair for children in Bologna, and then we have the designers that didn't think about children, and we push them to offer new collection conceived for children. And we have the Acavura example, the Mini-Me project, and so there are so many options. the idea is to be open and also to be like inventories in options. We try to put together things that are useful for the business.
Yeah. Wonderful. Mr. Napoleone, thank you very much. This comes across as an extremely creative trade fair. We are delighted to have you here. Thank you again. Okay.
Bye-bye.